So basically, what will happen is when basically we are having different types of applications. Okay, so like we are having a web application, we are having a desktop application, we are having a Windows Forms application, we are having these types of applications, Silverlight application. So in .NET, there are different types of applications. So for creating those applications, firstly, before going to that concept, what we'll discuss is what we'll tell is, for example, if you take a client and server, okay. So basically, whenever the communication, whenever we request for a web page, they firstly, what will the browser will do is the browser will send a request. So there we will, the browser is the client actually, and database backend IS, the user who is communicating with the browser is the server there. So here what we'll do is whenever the browser sends a request, whenever browser sends a request, the server will process the request. The server will process the request and then it will send back the data to the browser. Okay, so I'll write these terms, points.
Mhm.
Application. Second one is desktop application. Third one is Windows application. Fourth one is application response application. And also discuss that. And so on. So on. Okay. So these are the types of applications we are having in .NET. So now in the next concept is next point is the second point is uh, we are having like for example there is a browser. So here what is the client here? The client is nothing but client is the browser. The browser and backend user. User who is sending the request. User sending the request. The server. Okay. So now what will happen? So firstly, whenever we open a browser, the browser, what will browser do? Browser will send a request. Browser will send a request to the server. The server will receive the request. It will, the server will process the request and the server will send back the result to the client. So here client is nothing but the browsers. We are having different types of browsers. Okay, what are the browsers we are having? We are having Google, Chrome, Chrome, and Internet Edge, Internet Edge is the one browser. Safari, Safari one browser, and so on. Safari, Google, Internet Explorer, Internet Explorer is one browser, so on, etc. So these are the different types of browsers. So these browsers are nothing but we are calling it as a client. So what is client? Client is nothing but the browser. The browser will send a request to the, so for example, if you take a google.com or else if you take a youtube.com or else if you take facebook.com. So there what we are doing first we'll enter in the URL. First we are entering the page URL. In the browser we entering the URL and that URL, whenever we click on enter, the browser will send the request to the server. So for example, Facebook server is there, it will request the it will send a request to the server. The server, so client will send the request server, server, and the server. process. Will process the request and server will send back that the client, which is nothing browser. The browser client will send us. So these are the three steps we are having. So this client will follow these three steps. The client will send the request to the server will process the request, and the server will send back the result to the browser. Okay, so these are the first things. Now coming to what is coming to, so these are the basic things. Okay, so client and what is client, what is server, and what are different types of applications we are having. They are web application, desktop application, Windows Forms application, and Silverlight application. These are the four types of applications we are having, and we are having different types of browsers: Google Chrome, Internet Edge, Safari, Internet. So these are nothing but the browser is a client, and the user who is sending the request is a server. So now coming to next point. So how we will develop this? How we will design this application? So for example, if we are having different types of application, so how we will design this web application? So for example, this .NET is nothing but it is used. This .NET is nothing but it is used for designing and developing the applications. What type of applications we can develop? We can develop web application, desktop application. So how we can develop that? So that is the second next point we'll discuss about. So before going to that, we'll talk about what is the full form of .NET. Okay, what is the full form of .NET? The full form of .NET is nothing but .NET. So this is one important interview question. Okay, so basically we'll go to interview question. TCS will one of the interview like TCS has asked this question initially. So basic freshers who are going to interview, so it is one of the important. You can make a note of this. Okay, so what is the full form of .NET? .NET full form is nothing but network, network, .NET network, enterprise, network enabled, network enabled technology, network enabled technology. Okay. So this is the full form of .NET. .NET full form is nothing. N is for network, A is for enable, and D is for technology. Network enabled technology. So you know what is network? Okay. So basically, we studied in BTech. Actually, now BTech we have studied that what is network. It is a collection of computers. Okay. It is a collection. It is a network where it is a collection of computers. Now using .NET, how we will develop the web application. So basically, before going to that point, I will discuss about. So initially, what is the history of .NET? Okay, what is the history of .NET? So not history. Firstly, what Microsoft has done is Microsoft has developed a nothing but it is like classic, classic ASP. So this was developed in the year 1990. So what is this classic ASP? Classic ASP is nothing but it is the first version. It is the first version which Microsoft has developed for developing the web application. So this classic ASP is developed in the year called 1990. So next, after this, in 2008. So in between there are no ASP.NET. So after that they have introduced in 2008 they have developed the .NET called ASP.NET. This is nothing but 3.5. This is the first version 3.5. And after that we are having different versions. ASP.NET 1990, ASP.NET 3.5, and ASP.NET. Next version is 4.0 and 4.1, 4.2, 4.3, like that we're having so on. And then we are coming to 5.1, which is nothing but .NET Core. This 5.1. So until 4, what Microsoft has said was this until 4, it is called as a .NET framework only. But from 5.1 on .NET Core. So Microsoft has completely replaced this. Microsoft has completely replaced this .NET. So until from 4.1 to 4.3, it was called as .NET Framework 1, but 5.1 So five, all the five versions and six versions, seven versions, all everything is coming under .NET Core only. Okay, so that is one important point. ఒకసారి 1 second ఛార్జింగ్ అయిపోయింది ల్యాప్టాప్ ఛార్జింగ్ పెడతాను.
ఓకే సార్.
Yeah, hello.
Yes,
Hello.
sir. Yes.
Yeah, yes, yes. So we are having different types of we are having different types of .NET frameworks. So first is ASP.NET. So first is .NET framework. All ASP.NET 4 are .NET frameworks, and all the five versions are ASP.NET .NET Core. That is okay. So next point is so these are the different versions. So now what is the next point is how we will develop the web application. So we are having different types of web applications, okay, like web application, desktop application, Windows Forms application, and serverless application. So we are having these types of these. First classic ASP 1990 they have developed. So next is ASP.NET Framework and .NET Core. Okay. So now how we will, so we are having how we will develop the .NET web application. So using nothing but we are having a software called Visual Studio. Visual Studio is the software which is used to develop .NET, .NET applications. We are having this Visual Studio, which is one software. Basically, we are having different types of softwares. For Java, we are having one software. For PHP, we are having one software. So for we are having different types of softwares. For that, so for developing .NET application, we are using Visual Studio. So Visual Studio is a software which is used to develop .NET applications. Okay, so and also we have studied like a DBMS, right, database. So we are also having backend, which is nothing but database. So what is the database is for .NET? For .NET, the recommended database version is Microsoft, Microsoft SQL. We call this SQL as SQL Server. So in this, we are having different versions. Like so, for example, I already said Classic ASP 1990. No, so in Classic ASP 1990, what we will do is in Classic ASP 1990, we can use this Classic ASP supports which version of Visual Studio? That is nothing but the previous version, like Visual Studio 2008. Okay, so this is the first version. This is the first version of the Microsoft has like they have launched the publication development .NET applications with this Visual Studio only. So 2008 is the first version, and then next version is Visual Studio 2012. It supports 3.5 framework and 4.8. Now this is one important entry question. Okay, so which to framework, which Visual Studio version will support this 3.5 and 4.0 framework? So Visual Studio 2012. So this is nothing but it supports this 3.5 4.0 framework. And next one is next we are coming to next we are having different versions like Visual Studio. Next we are having 2017. It supports all the 4.2, 4.3, 4.4. So all the 4 point versions, so on, etc. Okay. So next we are having Visual Studio. Next version is Visual Studio 2019. Visual Studio 2019 supports both 4.0 framework and starting from 5.1 also. So what is 5.1? As we already discussed it, 5.1 is nothing but .NET Core. So Visual Studio from Visual Studio 2019 onwards, this Visual Studio supports .NET Core also, along with 4.0, 5.1 also. So I forgot one point. So here we forgot to talk about MVC. So MVC will come in 4.0. From 4.0 framework onwards, this MVC will come till 3.5. We'll write classic ASP programs and ASP.NET programs. But from 4.0 onwards, we can write C# ASP.NET programs and also MVC programs also. We can develop MVC applications also. Okay. So 5.1 is nothing but .NET Core. So it is completely .NET Core. So what is .NET Core? I will discuss in further classes. Okay. So next is Visual Studio 2022. So this is also one software where we can develop after 5.1 versions, 5.1, 6, so what, 7. So another important point is what is the latest version? What is the latest version of ASP.NET framework? C Sharp framework is 12. C Sharp 12 is the framework. Okay, this is one important interview question. So what is the latest version of C Sharp? They last actually in companies. You can tell that C Sharp 12, .NET Framework 12 is the latest version. Is the latest version. So we are having different advantages. So C Sharp 12 is the latest version, and we issued 2022. So after that, still Microsoft did not launch this issue. So we issued 2022 is the latest version. Okay, so these are the different versions of Visual Studio. So we are using this Visual Studio for developing .NET applications. So what it will support all the applications. We can develop web applications, we can develop desktop applications, we can develop Windows Forms applications, and we can develop Silverlight applications. So we can develop all the types of applications in the Visual Studio. And Microsoft SQL Server, we know that it is used for creating the database. So database. So coming to database is nothing but database is defined as database is called as collection of tables. So coming to table, what is a table? Table is a collection of
Rows and column.
yeah rows and columns. Collection of rows and columns. So database is called as a collection of tables, and table is a collection of rows and columns. So coming to database, we are having different types of databases. Okay, what are these? They are normal DBMS. So we know that the normal DBMS, which is called as database management system. We'll write this database. And next one is RDBMS. What is RDBMS? Relational
Yes.
relational database management system. Relational database management system. So these are the two types of DBM. So we are having another types of so recently in .NET also we are having one more database which is introduced. It is nothing but NoSQL. Okay, NoSQL. NoSQL is nothing but it will store the database in the format of graphs. పెడతాం పెడతాం కాదు చెప్తాను. So NoSQL is nothing but we can store the database in the format of graphs and XML, and also like different types of etc. Okay, we're having different types of. So this NoSQL is nothing but I will discuss it after. So we all talked no Azure and Cosmos DB. So this Cosmos DB will come under this NoSQL. Okay, so this will store in graphs XML. So we're having these three types of databases: DBMS, RDBMS, and NoSQL. So next point is we will discuss about we have discussed about which software we'll use for developing .NET applications and Microsoft Visual Studio, different versions of Visual Studio, what is database and different types of database. Okay. Now we'll go to the point called, so we'll come to .NET tools. Okay. What are the important components? What are the important components of .NET? Okay. What are the components of .NET? What are the important components of .NET? So what are the important components of .NET? So .NET will contain different components of .NET. So what are there? First one is CLR. Okay, the full form of CLR is Common Language, Common Language Runtime. CLR means Common Language Runtime. CLR means Common Language Runtime. The next component is CLS. What is the full form of CLS? Is Common Language Specification. Common Language Specification. Okay. Next is CLR, CLS, and third component is CTS. What are they? Common Type System. Common Type System. Third component of .NET is Common Type System. And fourth component is garbage collection. So these are the four important components of .NET. So we'll discuss these components one by one. Okay, so we'll discuss about these components one by one. First one is CLR. So what is the CLR? CLR is nothing but, we can simply say, in simple words, we can say that CLR is nothing but main components. We can say that it is the heart of the .NET framework. Because why we are saying heart? So for example, if we take human body, so in human body, what is heart? Heart is nothing but it's a main component. It supplies blood, so it will supply oxygen. So it supplies oxygen to various parts. So it is the main component where, so without oxygen, a human being cannot live. So in the same way, CLR is also nothing but it is heart of the .NET framework. Why we are calling this heart of the .NET framework? Because it will manage all the major operations. It will manage all the major uh, works. It will manage all the major components, major works in the .NET framework. So what are the major works? We can say that first was memory. Memory management. Memory management is the first work which CLR manage, and the second one is memory management, and the next is multitasking. Multitasking is the second component, and third work it will all is memory management, multitasking, and multi-threading, and so on, etc. So this is the CLR. So it will, along with this, we are also having some more operations. I am now discussing all those. You can study that. Okay. So the CLR will take these as the called as the main component in .NET framework. Why? Because it will uh, perform all the major operations in a .NET framework. They are memory management, multitasking, multi-threading, etc. So second one is CLS. CLS. So what is CLS? Common language specification. Okay. Common language specification. So what is this common language specification meaning is? Common language specification is said as, so the name itself is saying the language. So in our .NET, what will happen is, so we using this for, so as we already said that we are using this Visual Studio for developing our .NET applications. So in our Visual Studio supports different types of programming languages. So for example, what they are: C Sharp. C Sharp is one programming language which we use, and VB.NET is one programming language. Along with that, it also supports J Sharp. So J Sharp programming language, which is nothing but Java version of programming. We can also write Java programs. And fourth one is it also supports Python programming language. It also so it will support different programming languages. So what this CLS tool will do is, common language specification component will do is, it will combine all the languages. So why we are saying that? So to improve the performance of application. So whenever we are using this Studio, what they should do is, they should improve the performance of the application. It should not slow our system, right? Should not slow our application. So for improving the performance of the application, what this CLS component will do is, this CLS component will combine all the languages into one language, which is nothing but common language. So there is no format for that. It is a single language. So that is called as common language specification. Okay, so I'll write that point here. Common language specification is nothing but it is a component. It's a component which is which combines. It It's a component which combines all the different languages. So what are the languages we are having? C sharp is one programming language, and VB is one programming language, and J sharp is one programming language, Python is one programming language, and so on, etc. So it will combine all the different languages into a common language. That is called a CLS. It is a component which combines all the different languages C sharp, VB, J sharp, Python, etc. into a common language. So this is CLS. So what is the third component in .NET Fix? It is nothing but CTS. So what is CTS? Common type system. So the name itself is saying that common type system. So that is also same. So it is a component. So we are having. So for example, if we take a .NET program. So in a .NET program, what we'll do, we'll define variables. So for defining a variable, I will define one data type also. So how we will define? So for example, if I want to declare an integer value, okay. If I want to declare an integer value, I will write like int variable name, int a1. So like that. So that is one data type. So what is one type? Integer variable is one type variable. So like that in my .NET application, what I will do in my .NET application, I will define multiple types, so many types. So integer is one type, string is one type, float is one type, and string is one type. So we are having different types, multiple types. So like that we are having different. So how many types we are having is 64 data types we are having in .NET type. So that is one important point. So we are having 64 data types in our .NET framework. So what we are, so also already we discussed that we are having different types of language: C sharp, VB, J sharp, Python. So for example, let us assume that I will take an example. If I'm using multiple Visual Studio instances. So for example, if I'm defining multiple Visual Studio instances, so in Visual Studio, I'm creating one application, C sharp application. Using C sharp, I'm writing a console application. And in the second Visual Studio instance, I'm creating VB application. And the third Visual Studio instance, I'm writing J sharp application. And in the fourth Visual Studio application, I'm defining Python application. So, so here I'm using different multiple instances of Visual Studio application. So what will happen here? So each Visual Studio application, I'm defining multiple types. So in an application, I will define lot of data types: C sharp, multiple data types, VB data types, J sharp, Python. So your performance will decrease, right? To improve the performance of our application, what this CTS component will do is, this CTS component will combine all the types, which is nothing but data types, all the types into one data type, which is nothing but a common data type. Okay, so that is called as common type system. So what is CTS? I will write the meaning. It is nothing but CTS is defined as it is a component. It is a component which combines all the different types, into a common data type. That is called as CTS. Okay, common type system. And next component is CTS. Next component is garbage collection. Okay, what component is garbage? You can say the garbage collector, or else garbage collector, or else garbage collection. So this garbage collection is nothing but, so mainly before going to that point, I will just explain one example. Okay, so what is garbage collection is nothing but it is the component. It is a component in our .NET framework which is used to free or idle objects, which is used to free the memory, which is used to free the memory in my .NET program. So for example, as you already know that what is the entry point of the program, we know that in C++ we already discussed that. So what are they? In C and C++, we are having one entry point called main function. So main function is the entry point of the program. So in main function, what we are doing, we are creating objects of the class. So for example, I will define OB, O1 is one object, O2 is one object. So like that, if I create some 10 to 20 or 100 objects, so 20, 30 objects or 40 or 50 objects. So what this garbage collector will do, the performance will decrease. Now, if I use those that much objects, the memory will be occupied by the .NET application. More memory will be occupied if I create 50 objects. So what this garbage collector will do is this garbage collector. So whenever the first object is completed its execution, first object will complete its execution, it will free the memory of the first object. Like that, second object, it will complete its execution, it will free the second object. Like the third object. So what is happening here? It is freeing the memory. So whenever an object is idle, it's completed its execution. So whenever the object became idle without performing any operation, then what this garbage collector will do, this garbage collector will free the object to improve the performance. Okay, so that is the main purpose of garbage collector. Okay, the definition is garbage collector is a component in a .NET framework which frees which frees the memory in a .NET application. Okay, now .NET application. .NET application. Okay, that is a garbage collector. So we are also having, so we there is one important interview question that I will discuss that. What is that is what are generations? Okay, that is one important interview question. So what are generations in garbage collector? They will ask that what is garbage collector and what it will perform and what are. So we are having one tool. Okay, I forgot the point. What is garbage collector? We are having one tool. So for example, if you want to forcefully call the garbage collector, then we are having one tool, nothing but GAC util. So you can run this in after installing the .NET framework in your system, in our desktop or laptop, in your system, and after installing the Visual Studio also, then you can run this by pressing Windows R. Okay, by pressing Windows R, you can run this gacutil.exe. So what it will do is it will force the garbage collector to run. So manually, it will run the garbage collector. Okay, that is one important point. And we are having different generations in garbage collector. So what is generations are nothing but we are having different generations. They are generation 0 and generation 1 and generation 2 and generation 3. These are the different types of generations we are having. So what this generation 0 will do? What this generation 0 will do? So for example, in garbage collector, if I'm having 50 objects, okay. So these 50 objects. So for example, what this generation is mainly what this generation is. Each generation will have some memory. Generation 0 will have some memory. Generation 1 will have some memory. Generation 2 will have and generation 3 also will have some memory. So like this, we are having 4 generations in our garbage collector. So what it will happen is, so whenever the garbage collector will, for example, let us assume that this generation 0 is having some 5 objects memory or else some 10 objects memory. So what this, whenever this garbage collector will finish 10 objects, it will free the 10 objects. So one of each object, whenever the garbage collector finishes its memory, freeing of the memory, it will go to the generation 0. So first object, when it frees, it will go to generation 0. Second object, it will go to generation. So like that, after performing the 10 idle objects freeing the memory, the generation 0 will become full. So what it will happen, then automatically the operation will go to generation 1. So what happens in generation 1? Again, another next 10 objects will get stored in generation 1. Okay. So what happens in generation 2?
So next 10 objects. So like that, what is happening? We can store our 50 objects in different partitions, with different categories, different partition, different places. So those places are nothing but generations here. Okay. So we are like that. We are in garbage collector. We are having 4 generations. Okay. So that is called as generations. And these are the different components. Okay. So these are the different components of .NET. So they are CLR, CLS, ETS, garbage collector. And the CLR is the main component. You can saw that the heart of the .NET component. They are memory management. It can perform major operations. They are memory management, multitasking, multi-threading, etc. And CLS is nothing but common language specification. So it is a component which combines all the different languages like C Sharp, VB, J Sharp, Python, so on, etc. into a common language. And CTS is nothing. It is a component which combines all the different types into common data type. And next one is garbage collector. Garbage collector is nothing. It is component which frees the memory in a .NET application. So we are having one tool called gagutil.exe. That gagutil.exe, what it will do is it will force our garbage. So we can run manually also. It will force our garbage collector to run. And then in garbage collector, we are having 4 generations. They are generation 0, generation 1, generation 2, and generation 3. So these are the important components of .NET. So this is about .NET introduction, sir. Okay,
Mhm.
you understood, no?
Yes, sir.
So if you have any doubts, you can ask me. You can see. I will send you these notes also. You can give me your email ID. So that just send me your email ID in WhatsApp. You have my number, no? So in that I will send you this notepad, daily notes. I will send these notes to you, and I will also do what it will do is I will upload this video in my YouTube channel also. You can check in my YouTube channel, okay, just for reference.
Okay, sir.
Okay, I will send my. I already gave you YouTube link, no? YouTube
Yes,
channel,
sir.
I think. Yeah,
Yes, sir.
yeah. So you can check that in YouTube channel. You can please subscribe also. You can please subscribe that YouTube channel. That will be very good for me. So this is about .NET, sir. So sorry for that. The time is 10:45, right? So I'm completing a class before 15 minutes. Just from tomorrow onwards, I will take until 11. Okay. So
Okay, sir.
today is our first class, right? So I will not. I'm not. I don't want to keep you until 11. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Yeah. So if you have any doubts, please ask me, sir.
No, sir. It's clear, sir. What you have told.
Yeah, it's clear, no?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is our first class, sir. This is our first class. It is nothing but .NET introduction. Okay, so from tomorrow's class, I will discuss about our next concept, which is nothing but our OOPS concept,
Mm-hmm.
object oriented programming.
Mm-hmm.
So we have the no we are having different object oriented on the class object inheritance. We are having different object oriented concept. I will discuss about this in tomorrow's class.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay,
Okay.
okay, okay,
Okay.
sir. Thank you, thank you,
Thank you, sir.
thank you.